Well, I mean, it's an excellent connection now. Ah, look at all that sound already getting picked up. Well, it's a good thing I planned on started early anyway, because I didn't mute my mic. Or my desktop audio. Fixed now. But, yeah, we are just kind of coming more or less off the Corpse Party stream on Twitch, so I'm already kind of set up here, and we get to start on time, because it's like I never actually stopped. So, we are going to go ahead and jump right into the finale for Trial 2. I was kind of hoping to finish this last week, but my eyes were hurting. I was a little tired. Probably could have stood to have had a little nap before I started today, but we are pretty much ready to go here. I'm just checking to make sure things... Oh, look at that choppy stream. Oh, look at how choppy it is. Okay, hang on a second. We need to see what we can do about that. Yeah, give me a second here. That is not going to fly. Okay, encoder overload, blah, blah, blah. Come on, browser, shut down. There we go. That is still an awfully high load. I will say this as I'm trying to fix this up. I have planned to earmark some funds for a new computer. Ideally one I can play games off of while I stream things. Why is Ace Attorney taking so much CPU? It's literally on the front screen here. Hang on a second. Alright, we're just going to have to roll with it. Come on, be slightly less choppy. I'm watching that screen. I'm watching. Okay, hang on a second. I'm just going to kill Ace Attorney for a second. Bring this down. Okay. First and foremost, let's check the audio, because when I started streaming Corpse Party, I had no audio, because I was being a doofus. Okay, that's fine. That's a little bit smoother. Look at me, look at me, look at me move. Alright. Okay, that's great. That's great. But we do have to play the game, because that's why we're here. So I'm going to do everything I can. All right, let's shut this down just for the sake of freeing up a few more little tiny little bits of CPU. Let's kill Steam. And let's go ahead and jump on into it. All right, so we're just going to have to pray for the best here. I'm really not running anything. The CPU doesn't seem like it's straining too much. Okay. Let's roll with it. We're doing it. We're making it happen. Trial Part 2. Oh, yeah. So at the end of the last trial, we started wondering if Miss Viridian Green might have something to do with what the hell's going on. I'm still a little unsure of how and why. I'm going to be honest, the last stream I was a little bit whining and bitching about certain plot points because, again, Van Zieks is now all on board with all the friggin' conjecture in the world, when usually he whines and complains about it when we're doing it. And also there's some very tenuous connection to Miss Green here. So I still think that it's got something to do with that murderer. Or the murderer slash burglar that passed away a few months ago. I think that's the main thing, but we haven't really touched on it yet. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even recall a whole lot of what happened during the first part of, part 2 of the trial, the things that happened last stream, because it was all just conjecture. Van Ziek's main argument was like, well, you proved that all our evidence was false, but you still could have done it if we imagine it like this. Do you have any evidence for that? Well, no, but can you prove that you didn't do it? How about you go F yourself? That's basically how the last stream went. Well, I can't... Yeah, most of the things I wanted to touch on weren't touched on. I still think there's something to my theory. I still think that Pretenshi slash Shamspear, he knows the burglar and he's trying to find his stash or something after the guy passed away. He's trying to find whatever jewels the guy made off with or some such. I'm guessing. And I'm guessing that he murdered Duncan, because we still don't actually have a murderer right now. It's just we're trying to just listen to the prosecution convict Soseki for nothing. Like nothing happened now. The victim is alive. Tea is, drink tea while it's hot, and so on. And can't prove nothing. We proved the guy stole gas, so throw him in jail and we can all go home. But joyful, jubilant jumping jacks. Yeah, jumping jacks is more Pretentious thing. Oh, Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you. Oh, yeah. Voices again. Why are we pleased again? I mean, I don't know. Last trial was a little bit weird. You can use smaller names, okay? Iris gives us nicknames. You could take a page from her. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent. And proof that my tea is innocent. That's the most important thing. Oh, you finally decided to show up. Nice of you to get out of bed there, Holmes. Ah, Herlock Sholmes! May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. I thought the tea was innocent. I thought you didn't poison it, Soseki. Don't say that around the bailiff. Oh, Mr. Holmes, you came. How wonderful. He skipped the boring part. He knew the last part of the first trial was just going to piss him off, so he just waited until now. Please save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. He can see me through the stream. He can tell what I'm thinking. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort, except for Psy'Min. Psy'Min says that. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought, tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my compatriots. Boy, this is how I feel when I gotta wake up early to do a stream. Such spirited determination has a beauty all of its own, does it not? So basically, you feel like you should get points for intentions and not effort. And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why? Time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not a astute insight into the matter? Oh, yes, of course. Upon which realization, I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Yeah, shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiments is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yeah, I think most of us probably knew that already. I don't really think the scientific mind needed to take you on that one. What others presume, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Oh yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this? We do remember that. That's the poison bottle Viridian was going to drink out of. Yes, of course. It's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a laborious task, as the bottle was nearly empty, but such inconveniences do not hinder Holmes. I managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. So I was right. Okay, so what does this establish as far as the facts of the case? Yeah, this is the only thing. Like, it's so circumstantial what we have right now tying Miss Green to anything that her name should barely even be coming up. But if she has a bottle of strychnine poison, how did that find its way down Pretentious' throat? Though, of course, such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the ball in your care now. But licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Wasn't thinking about it. I already get something else to drink here. Uh-oh. Is that green? There's only so many people this could be. It's not going to be Pretentious because it's not nearly flowery enough. Maybe it's Tobias. Tobias or Green? Who is it? Ah, it is Tobias. Grayson, how good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. You just peace out. I needed my food. I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look on your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Gladly. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. You have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Pretentious' room. Okay, what were we inspecting again? Friday is just lost. I've just memory hold it. Not yet. Should be along now, though. No, I'm here about something else. That dead convict, actually. Yeah, this is the first time he's actually been mentioned, I think, since the investigation portion. You mean Sheldon? Selden? A man by the name of... Ah, yes, Selden. I went through the archives at the yard and dug up the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what? I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Why are you helping us out? That's very not gumshoe-like of you. Just handing us stuff. Here you go. The capital offender's file has been entered into the court record. These documents include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Pretentious' room. Let us just take a look at what we got here. Oh, it's just a simple little file. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Damn. Died of natural causes while in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. We knew that. The estimated 1,000 pounds worth of loot he stole remains uncovered. So this ties into my theory that he's got a stash sticking around somewhere. Manchester's Strangeways Gallows announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering with fevers, alerted by the shouts. Okay. Nothing hugely relevant yet. Let's take a look. Oh, is this another... what is this circular indentation here? Poison, strychnine. There are a few remnants on the bottom of the bottle here. You mustn't be tempted to try it. Of course not. As long as we don't lose this trial. No, even if we lose the trial. No, we mustn't lose the trial in the first place, Mr. Naruhodo. Make up your mind, Suzuto. Yeah, that wasn't mega helpful. Nothing else really to be looked at? No huge revelations? Selecting poison, strychnine, blah, blah, blah. Alrighty. Good enough. I'll rearrange everything in the court records so we don't have duplicate information. Oh, what the hell? Did that move things? Hang on a second. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the only ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? Okay, so he's doing us a solid because we did him a solid. I'm just making sure that things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's working is so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows. And the inspector here is a shining diamond in his crown. A shining diamond in the rough, baby. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. And now I'm out. Oh, counsel for the defense. Oh, the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way to the courtroom at once. Okay, did Suzuto actually move stuff around? We lost something. We lost at least one. Oh, it was the newspaper clipping we had before. Okay, I guess that did technically become redundant. All right. Get your asses in there. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Thanks, Mr. Holmes. I imagine him sitting directly behind Van Zeeks, and every time he starts to nod off, he just gets clubbed in the head by a bottle. Oh. Your friend told you to come say hi. Well, it's Macy. Hi, Macy. Also, hi, Coffin Cuddles. Glad to see both of you. Glad for you to join me. Yes, that. What he said. Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yep, this is it. Miss Viridian Green and Mr. William Pretenci. This is going to be the final battle. We still don't know Miss Green. I mean, she just got out of the hospital. Poor girl. Oh, I missed that. I was looking at chat. I won't really have saved Saseki until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to. Oh, that's a full spelling of that name. That's not what he's usually called. It's trial time. It looks like the frame rates are covered, so that makes me happy. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Ho, ho, ho. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Literally pulled out of his ass. Even Psy'Min doesn't know what's going on. Namely, that the victim in the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. Yeah, no kidding. She was the victim. She wasn't even in the trial. She was in the hospital. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Yep, thank you for that backhanded consideration, jerk. 2 streams in one day, Jay? Yep. It's kind of typical. I think this is almost the second or third time I've done Corpse Party followed by Ace Attorney. A rather cold assessment from the honorable British prosecutor, I must say. Nothing new, racist prick. So Lord Van Zeeks is the new witness present and ready to take the stand. Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord. Very well. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in. I gotta remember how to do Viridian's voice now. Oh, she's painting on the stand. You I still hate. Witnesses, state your name and occupations for the court, please. William Pretenci, my liege. For mine occupation I can say only that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words. Okay, you're like Iris, but quicker. Funnily enough, this is literally Saseki's 2 suspected victims. The victim from the first game and the victim from the second game. I'm Viridian Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no, not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure whose 2 weeks period to admitted she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words. Stop giving me words I don't know. What a coterie. Sure, why not? Mr. Pretenci. My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green. Yes. You are aware of the reason you've been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume? Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. I like her animation. She's fun. And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man.
Come, lady. Die to live. This guy's got a new animation every time I see him. Jeez, half the budget was spent on this guy. Verily I know not thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage. That's some Saseki level alliteration there. Very well, let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. People are chatting now, so I gotta actually start... Where is that? Oh, I can't actually adjust that. Okay, I'm not gonna try. I still gotta figure out how to make the chat window not borked, but that'll be for another time.
It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I just passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in the hospital, fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garadeb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days. Yeah, Jay did do that before, but we don't talk about that.
I was struck at the back, in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I am under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Potenchi's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened.
Oh no! The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful accident?
Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested in hearing from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Potenchi.
Eh? But what happened?
That's not your voice.
But what happened 6 days ago is nothing to do with me being poisoned.
I guess it's okay if he breaks character when he's surprised. Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February. Here we go.
It was 6 days ago, at about 5 p.m. when I was walking along in the snow and I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakst, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
What are you painting? Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. Yeah, Garadeb, your house sucks. One can only presume that this is a most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Potenchi.
'Twas the following morn when I did awaken that I heard of the dire events. Marry, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine.
When Soseki was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. I'm still unclear what connects these guys. Ryunosuke, you gotta stop pulling stuff out of your ass. When you lose the player, you're going too far. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance. But I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. Ah, you're just going on intuition? Alright, I can respect that. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Oh, yeah, right. That part of the game. Well, we're just pressing stuff, because I have no idea what gets objected to here.
It was 6 days ago, About 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow and I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in the case have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou dost speakst, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
Quick review, and now we're going to start pressing stuff. So that's all the testimony I have to work with, huh? Yeah, sucks, doesn't it?
There's certainly no obvious link between these two, or the two incidents.
But we can't just turn around and admit this has all been a waste of time. I have some pride, you know, Miss Susan. I've come this far. I'm just going to keep digging.
I think perhaps pride shouldn't come into this, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well, anyway, I should at least make sure I've pressed them on all their statements. And hard, too.
Oh, dear. Did you hear what I said about pride?
Well, I'm going to press the crap out of these guys. Start with you.
Hold it!
I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find the case had been solved and the culprit arrested.
Yes, the incident had been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening and should now be forgotten.
Yes, I suppose so. Thank you.
But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need to remember the details one last time. We need you to put it behind you, except please remember everything. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case.
The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the two men in this case have their lodgings.
What were you doing there that day, though?
Well, what do you mean?
The art school you attend. What's it called?
Ah, yes. It's the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Holmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene on the Underground.
I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road. Isn't that right? So why, then, would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End?
Oh,
she's getting into it now.
It's because, oh yes, of course. I thought it might make a nice picture.
The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas.
That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town.
That painting is going to end up being something we see at the end of the trial, I'm sure.
Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term.
The point is, she's definitely hiding something.
Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth.
And she's trying to hide why she was there that evening. It must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to all this. And you, Mr. Potentia, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing?
'Twould be my pleasure, sire. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakst, for I had bespoke my supper.
Hold it!
A tavern, you say? Which one?
'Twas the Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End.
I've eaten there. It sucks. And a little unexpected, I feel. 1 star on Yelp. What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks? The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. Weren't you eating soap yesterday?
It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness.
What? Man, 18th century dining sucks. I would have expected Grubb's Grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas. Or rather, soupy water and pea like mush. Van Zeeks is a food critic all of a sudden. All equally appetizing.
I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that?
Again, new animation. How different can water really be? The pipes in this town are dirty enough that water tastes different depending on where you're drinking it.
Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment.
Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days he dined in a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. So Mr. Potenchi's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions.
That's an absolutely fantastic question. Probably not. Not right now. This doesn't show the restaurants. This is irrelevant. Also wait a minute. Yeah, that would be irrelevant. Irrelevant. Anything in here about this? Nope. This is all stuff on the day he was attacked. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. This is probably irrelevant. Yeah. No evidence right now. Not at the moment. Maybe later. Maybe we'll come back to it. I wish we did, but sadly I can't think of anything at the moment. Why is this not picking up my mouse clicks? If we find a clue that could explain why Mr. Potenchi went there, we must present it to the court. There we go. Now I can click. What was up with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
If that is all in the matter, counsel, I would ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement. It was the first time I've been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all.
What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
It was nothing, really. It's not worth mentioning. I have a feeling we're going to have to pursue on one of these statements.
If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital.
Oh, did she? Okay. You let something slip?
It was related to the card you were holding.
What was that about again?
Miss Green.
Nothing.
What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross.
Oh, yeah, right. That was a week ago. What's that matter? There's nothing to do with Duncan. Oh. Okay, how did you see this and think he was thinking of something? This guy's animations are so flat. This is literally just what he does. Come on.
Excuse me.
Potenchi's got to act weirder than that to get my attention. Do some jumping jacks or something, and even then I wouldn't really consider it abnormal.
Mr. Potenchi, do you have something to share with the court?
You crazy bastard. To be or not to be, that is the question. Pray forgive me. The great bard's word springeth from within me with ne'er a thought.
Don't tell me it's 'cause you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something.
Something of relevance, perhaps? Maybe he got our attention because he stopped moving around like a weirdo. Nay, sir. 'Twas nothing at all.
Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house.
That's right. He did live upstairs from this guy before he died, and I'm still pretty sure this guy murdered him. I wish it was so, but sadly, nay. Lodgings be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me.
So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours?
Didn't we find evidence of Duncan Ross in this guy's little hidey hole in his floor? Miss Green. Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong? The card that was mentioned before, containing the note. Do you have it upon your person? I do, yes. But I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really. No, keep it. It's evidence. What we have matches with... Okay, I think this might be the evidence we need. Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Oh, because she would have been meeting him. This is the evidence that he was at the restaurant.
because he had the evidence. And he sent the note. Okay, all right. Okay. We're starting to put things together. Of course, that's what links Mr. Pretentious, Miss Green. He heard what I was saying. I was listening to what Psy'Min says. It's Duncan Ross. Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green. We're going to press the last statement, and then we're going to throw the obvious evidence.
Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
Hold it!
Yeah, you didn't regain consciousness until the day after the trial, did you? In the early hours.
Exactly. So how could I have had anything to do with it? And yet you still haul me here to court like this. Honestly.
So at the time of the poisoning, the witness was unconscious in her hospital bed. Could there be a more airtight alibi, I ask you? Did she drop some of that poison somewhere? Because she clearly had the strychnine.
Hey, yeah, despite that, you claim that I was the culprit.
Well, yeah, you know.
But you certainly haven't produced any evidence to support your wild claim, have you? None at all.
There you have it. The good lady has yet to see evidence, my learned Nipponese friend. I'm working on it here. Counsel, I would point out here that the jury's next decision will be final. Oh, really? We'll see about that. We're really up against the wall here. Well, maybe stop bluffing out of your asshole.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you pursued Mr. Pretentious wonderfully there.
What kind of reaction is that? It worked out well, hasn't it? We have a new clue at last. All right, now I need to pull off a really insightful objection somewhere.
Well, as you've managed to expose this promising new angle, I wonder if you should perhaps try to develop that.
Oh, yeah, of course. And yelling out objections isn't necessarily the best way to do that, I suppose. Okay, so before we do anything, I want to look at this letter. The envelope's been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Yeah, no kidding. Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Oh, wait. Huh. What is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact shape. Well, I mean, we recognized that shape the instant we saw it. The question is, why did we see it somewhere else?
Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up. Oh, he's just going to do it for me. Okay, cool. Well, there that is.
They go together perfectly. This torn off edge of the envelope clearly belongs with this card.
All right. All right. Well, that's done. That's sorted. We got anything else we can look at, or is that it? It's just the card. It's just the card. All right. And this I've already examined to death. All right. All right. That will probably allow me to present it. So let's go ahead and wait. Where do I throw it? Huh. We've had people say, like, oh, no, wait, we had an, where was that, whoops. I forgot, we actually had to press someone, and then it asked us if we had evidence, and we had to say no. I think that was Pretentious that we pressed. Was it this statement? Is it you?
Hold it!
Tavern, you say? Which one? Slug and salad, grubs grubbery. Do we have evidence why he would be there? Do we have evidence why you would want your sad, cloudy water? How different can water really be? Is there a more plausible explanation? Well, now we have something. Mr. Pretentious.
Yes, sire.
On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason?
I don't know what you're talking about. Pray if thou hast some purpose Speakst! There we go. There's the pretentious animation we come to expect. Now stop it. Very well, I'll present this court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely, we didn't actually get a chance to read this.
Take that!
I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord, Miss Green's card, you mean? Yeah, the evidence we just got 2 seconds ago. That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anyone else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Now I'm starting to wonder why he would do this, and I think it ties into that jewel stash. If Miss Green is related to Selden, maybe he was trying to get information out of her. Mr. Pretentious, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Pretentious? Well, excuse me. Can I say something? Of course, Miss Green. What's up? That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this old man, does it? Or you're asking. Well, you'd think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely... My lord, may I? May you what, Miss Green? I'd like to make something very clear about that card. Uh-oh. Very well, then, you may amend your testimony to include details about the particular note. And then this is where we're going to have to present the end that was in his apartment. This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the old man next to me here. What does that have to do with Jack Squat? This note was delivered to me at my address, yes. So what? First, and? How else would it get to you? I don't understand. I think you said that you received it the day before the incident, didn't you? Yes, that's right. There appears to be no indication of the sender's name or address on the envelope. It was in my letterbox, that's all I know, I'm afraid. I've no idea who sent it. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Who is this Duncan Ross, please? A friend of mine. He attended the same art school as I do. He passed away in a tragic accident a month ago now, though. I wasn't sure what to make of that note, to be honest, but in the end I decided to go. So you found out what the information was? Of course I didn't. You don't think it straight. Whilst on her way there, she was stabbed in the back, as my learned friend hopefully remembers. Oh yeah, right, of course. She never made it to the meeting. So, how does that prove pretend she had nothing to do with it? I'm not following the logic there. Someone sent you that letter. Why is he ruled out? Well, we're going to do the obvious thing here. I'd love to find out how this ended up in your apartment, buddy, but I guess we're about to find out.
Objection!
The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address, and upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in the hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible. Everything that's happened to me. Yeah, it is terrible. It's also hilarious. I laugh about it all the time. But if it's all true, that is. Oh, if it's all true. What? Where's this going? What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? What did you think it was? And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Ah, well, where did you find that? In Mr. Pretentious's room. Eh? In my room? Mr. Pretentious, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well. Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Wait a minute. Who got this note? Wait a... Oh, that's... Did she send him? Now, let's... I don't know what's going on here. Let me ask you again, Mr. Potenchi. You already knew about this note, didn't you? Not looking at you, not looking at you. And you, Miss Green. Huh, what'd I do? As this torn off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Potenchi's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There is only one explanation. Oh, is there now? I can't wait to hear this. You broke into Mr. Potenchi's room and stole it. What? I'm not sure I'm following. Yeah, you just get painting. You did what? Sorry. He's breaking character. You did what? Oh, sorry. Thou hast what? You broke... thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me? It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. This time without the bullshit. Both of you are up to something. Miss Green. Yes? Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Oh, come on, Van Zeeks. You know everyone gets away with that. Please bear that in mind. Oh, you guilty girl. What you do? Yes, I know. Very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now. Stop lying. We only let you get away with that 47 times, and then we're going to punish you. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. Claims to have received. Are we going to get some new information out of Potenchi now that we're actually getting some stuff, the reactions out of him as far as breaking into his room and stuff? I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago, peradventure, that note was delivered unto me. Not her, me. On the day written therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished. Therefore, on the evening I shared the company, so he's talking about Suseki. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, did you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn-off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it. Oh. So this has, you now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Potenchi? So here's an interesting change of context. If Potenchi received that note, see now if Miss Green received that note, I have information on the death of Duncan Ross. And he'd be like, oh, info about my friend's death? I'm interested about that. But if Potenchi got that note, I have information on the death of Duncan Ross. I have information about what really went down and why he died. And you would be interested in that because you were responsible. Is that where we're going with this? Interesting. Well, let's see what happens here. Faith! 'Tis so, my lord. Boy, it takes a while to get the truth out of you on anything, doesn't it? And I would swear to have set upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it. Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was a lie. Is that what you think? How unfair do you think that I'm the one lying? I beg your pardon. I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address, besides. We all know who the liar around here is. I love how she does that. If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Pretentious's... I don't see why I should explain. Sorry? I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is just to say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer. The fledgling will do his best.
Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth.
Finally getting some faith in me? Well, counsel? I'm ready, my lord.
Very well, then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Pretentio's room. There could be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note. Yeah, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all this. And it's not a pretty one.
I'm a little unclear on some of the assumptions on the part of the defense here. We don't know for a fact she really broke into his apartment. We can certainly infer it. It's a possibility, but All right, well, let's see what we got here. I don't even remember this testimony. It happened 2 seconds ago.
I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago, peradventure the note was delivered unto me. Not her, me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the slug and salad, yet nobody came. I do remember now.
Oh, why did that back up? I didn't do that.
Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had...
Wait a second. That's actually troublesome, because wouldn't she have still been in the hospital back then? Shared the company of the Japanese fellow. So Saseki. Did Saseki do something? I don't think so.
I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, did you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here. As for that torn off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it. It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Pretentio's room, isn't it? And that's where she found this letter.
Yeah, two more or less foregone conclusions. Are they? I'm still not sure about that. But lead me to one terrifying conclusion. Terrifying? Yeah, I'm afraid to say the outcome of this cross-examination may well change how we look at this case completely. Well, that's promising. We'll see about that. Let's see here. Yeah, let's press him.
I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago, peradventure, that note was delivered unto me.
Was it now?
Can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all?
Nay, sire, 'tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily, 'tis impenetrable.
Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same house as you. In effect, he was your neighbor. So surely you knew him, didn't you?
Alack, if the choices be, twixt I knew him, and I knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I be forced to declare we were by some small measure acquainted.
Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the slug and salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature.
Marry, naught will have had the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So 'tis true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern, yet in the end my curiosity was not sated. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the slug and salad, yet nobody came.
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared?
Actually, what if she wrote that note to break into his room for some as of yet unascertained reason, took the note then, and then got stabbed on the way out, and that's why she had the note in the hospital. So she was getting rid of him to break into his house or his apartment to search for something, and then when that was her disposing of the evidence. Maybe? I don't know. Shame she didn't pick up the bit of the torn envelope that was very obviously lying there, though.
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared?
Well, yes, sire, 'tis as thou sayest. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall.
Really? What? You mean to tell the court that someone did appear after all?
I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord, no. 'Tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water, and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions.
What was in that water, dude? What do you mean?
Flies, sir, flies.
This is not helpful.
In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer night's dream, come to taunt me.
Maybe they were just flies.
I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around.
Flies don't have great taste. Let's just be clear.
Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished.
Hold it!
Interesting. When exactly did you notice it had gone missing?
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval.
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
Maybe you could try writing some new material then, asshat. And yet during that time, Miss Green was comatose in hospital, was she not? Clearly then she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Potenchi's room. Did someone take it and then give it to her? Is there an instigator? What's going on here?
Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding. Isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir?
I'm not so sure. You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by that note. I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that. There we go. Van Zeke's showing some principles again.
Oh, dearie me.
What's Lord Van Zeke's getting at? Does he know something we don't know? What's going on here?
I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck in the last man's room, do you? Why would I?
It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Potenchi about 1 week ago.
Oh, does it? Interesting. Don't know anything about it. Really? No, not me. Fledgling honest, remember.
But for some reason it ended up in your possession.
Oh yeah, that's strange. Strange, isn't it? Weird.
I can't think of any other way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Potenchi's lodgings. Oh, conjecture's a problem now? But for what reason would the witness have done that? I don't know. Reasons? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could only have come to be in possession of that note by stealing it from Mr. Potenchi's room.
Well, we're really hung up on that, so I'm going to have to assume it's true, but still. We're not being very imaginative here. Maybe someone else could have... Soseki could have walked out with it and then brought it by. And why would he do that? I don't know. But why would she steal it? I don't know. And yet there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. Or when she would have done it, because she was in a coma. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though?
Yes, we should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sure, let's just bluff it. We're close, I can feel it. No, you're not. You're nowhere near. You can't be. There's nothing. I like how creative this character is, though. The and the holding the brush and the palette like a sword and shield.
I can point out the villain here. As for that torn up piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it.
She's just going to claim ignorance, and she can do that because we have nothing. So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it?
It got dropped off. Can't prove it didn't. I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters. introverted? Fie! This fledgling doth readily cast aspersions about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wing. Oh, pity!
Where did that harp come from?
Wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman? This is my pure of heart dance.
Stop it immediately.
Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure.
Oh, you two are going at it now.
Tragedy! Thou shalt not know the true art of an honest until thine instruction hereafter by death.
Another animation with this guy. More harps. Quit doing that wiggling.
Oh, the days, oh, the years! Alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain. Mr. Naruhodo, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine.
I'm not interested. No, please, no. I'm not a Shakespearean actor, Miss Suzudo. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is evidence.
Oh, sorry. I had a frog in my throat. Is evidence. Yes.
Okay, it's clear, blah, blah, blah. Outcome, blah, blah, blah. Huh. Let's see. It's two statements of hers. Stuck in this man's room, why would I? Okay, there's not much we can contradict there because we kind of know that to be true. There's the why would I and the I don't know anything about it. So we need to present some evidence here. We need to either present a reason why she needed to be there or... Whoops, I skipped ahead the wrong way there. We need to either answer the why would I or the I don't know anything about it. I feel like this is the most promising. Let's see. Whoops, I clicked off the window. I don't know why she would just break and enter for the sake of breaking and entering. This has got nothing to do with it, nothing to do with it, nothing to do with it. This is evidence of it, but it's got nothing to do with it. I don't think the plan to steal heat has anything to do with Miss Green, so we can ignore that. Why would I? Boy, back when we thought he was dead, huh? Remember those good old days? I reminisce about them often. Ingested. Could it been to have poisoned him? How could she have done that, though? How could she have done that? And when she would have had to have done it on the day that she got stabbed. Like she would have had to have been leaving his apartment, his lodgings, after having done that, and then she got stabbed. How would that work? And why? Again, why? That doesn't really say why. Why did I break into his house? To poison him. Why did I do that? I don't know. This is still... Oh, this is answered, because he was blowing into the lamp. What was the reason for... Oh, yeah, to set out the pile. Okay, this has not been brought up yet. We have heard some things about this, but we have not yet followed up on it. I don't think we followed up on it last time. Nothing here of interest. We can see all those little art supplies. That's cute. You had the poison. Is that what we press? I mean, because that's all I got. This doesn't tie into anything yet. We got health. I'm going to try it. You think I snuck into this man's room? Do you? Why would I? To poison him? Because you had it.
Objection.
That is it. Oh, okay. I'm still not connecting all the dots here, so we need to get this spelled out. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilled during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. Huh. According to the defense's independent analysis, by which we mean Mr. Holmes' chemistry set, don't mention that, the liquid that was still in this bottle was identified as strychnine. Oh, yeah, that's going to be news to him. Strychnine. The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Pretenshi.
Huh? What?
Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Pretenshi's room with poison. Oh, okay. Again, we're jumping ahead a little bit here. I mean, I'm not saying that this can't be the case. When did he blow into the pipe, though? Is that when he blew into the pipe? Oh, okay. So she suspected him of killing Duncan Ross, or has some reason for thinking he did, just like we do. So she sent him that note to get him out of there, like I thought. And, okay, so she wasn't, like, searching the place. She sent him that note to get him out of there, put the poison on the lamp, because if he killed Duncan Ross that way, he might be trying to kill Saseki the same way. Took the letter when she left, but pretend she wouldn't have had a reason to use the gas lamp, wouldn't have had a reason to blow on the end of the pipe until Saseki was back, because he was in prison. And Saseki didn't have tea with Pretenshi until he got back. And then he had reason to blow on the pipe again, and that's why he fell over. These are distinct possibilities. And then, of course, Pretenshi tried to spin it to get Saseki blamed for poisoning him so he could get him out of the room anyway. Something along those lines? Oh, he doesn't like that. The fuck you do, bitch? Can this be you? Broke into my room to It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there's only one logical conclusion that we can reach. I feel like there's more possibilities, but hey, whatever. The person who attempted to take Mr. Pretenshi's life with poison was you, Miss Viridian Green.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear me.
Lol. Your bottom half defies biology, but anyway. Order! Order! Counselor, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill? Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did intend setting this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely. Well, we already answered that. Van Zeeks is smart. He should know this. Yeah. Don't be a racist right now. Be on my side here. This one's easy to understand. Perhaps not, my lord. Of course, to even connect these dots, we have to assume that Pretenshi killed Ross as well, so... now the characters are doing what the player's usually doing and going 6 steps ahead. Because why else would he be blowing on the pipe? There was a significant police presence on the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumvent criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zeeks? I can think of a better reason, but okay.
And of course, the following morning, there was more activity at Mr. Pretenshi's address.
More activity? Ah, yeah. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder?
That's right. And as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Pretenshi was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant.
Did we cover this last time, or was this something that I was just speculating we haven't actually got to right? This is something we must have brought up last stream. So it was mentioned.
As the defense has already proposed, Mr. Pretenshi was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself.
I might have to actually watch my own stream. I can't remember what I speculated and what my theories are and what we've actually brought up so far. I guess that part of the theory was right. But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Potenchi had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant.
And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again.
Right! Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end. The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted. That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Potenchi was mysteriously poisoned. So in order for this guy to, in order to get back at Miss Green, in order to testify that this stuff is happening, he's going to have to admit that he attempted murder and possibly actually murdered someone. You're kind of in the hot seat now there, buddy. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. How about that? Ooh. With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan. What plan? The court will recall that the note gave instructions to visit the Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear. To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time.
To make sure I wasn't home?
Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed.
You mean to say that letter
Was written by Miss Green, yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left, just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room. Oh, she's on a box. Like, understandable. She's like 3 foot nothing. What do you have to say for yourself? Paintbrush hair. Yeah, I see that.
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me?
Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial. So that's what's behind all this. Tobias Gregson. No, it's Duncan, of course. You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life? Have we formally accused Potenchi of murdering this guy, or have I just been talking about it? I can't actually remember.
Take that!
Duncan Ross. That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodgings of Mr. Garreteb's, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago when the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings. That does ring a vague... Oh, of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such. Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Potenchi blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Now we're formally accusing him.
Well, what do you know?
Are we headed for a breakdown? Are we headed for a personality change? What's happening?
The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. If it's an interesting story, they want to know. It doesn't cross their mind that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him.
You mean you? Duncan was.
Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé.
Fiance?
You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Potenshi. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry.
We're making a lot of assumptions here. We haven't actually convicted this guy of murder, I don't think.
Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Potenshi, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe?
And she must have done that on the evening she was stabbed. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Sure, why not? We got a lot to spread around here. Each on different counts of murder. Well, attempted murder on her part. That's a little better. Yes, my lord, that's correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded.
What?
Why would Mr. Potenshi have wanted to kill these lodgers, as you say? Yeah, now we're going to get into Selden. You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man. Since when do motives matter in this court? You know better than that.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance. And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Narrowhooder, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either.
Oh, to be expected.
I'm sure you think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel.
Objection!
But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason?
I don't admit to breaking in yet. You ain't got me there yet. Oh, I thought I'd have a look around. That's all.
Sorry?
You're right. I suspected him. So I thought, perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life. Oh, vileness! Oh, villainy! Oh, tyranny! Oh, rotundity of woman! Oh, sure, fat jokes again, is it? But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock.
Wasn't his door broken or something? I can't... Something was wrong with his door that someone had broken it in or out or some such. I can't remember.
That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some terps and a piece of wire. Oh, awfulness! Oh, awfulness! Oh, tyranny! Oh, profanity of woman!
We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion. But for now, tell the court what you found. What evidence your search revealed. Did she find the empty tin? Is that why it's empty? I'm still not sure what was supposed to be in there.
Well, I spotted the note that I sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose.
Ah, I was right.
And underneath it, I discovered a secret hiding place.
Huh? We all know about your secret hiding place, dude. Yeah, we found it too.
You found my wait, what? Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Oh, good, you didn't find it. Ah, yes, well, the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty.
Ah, you did steal what was in it.
What? There was something in it?
Yes.
Something that convinced you to poison. Oh.
This rather nice key.
That's an interesting expression. Why are you wearing your stolen property around your neck? You'd think Potenshi would recognize it. Okay, yep, I think he recognized it, guys. I think yep, he's noticed now. He's out of his own little world. He's no longer in Shakespeare land in his head. He's suddenly looking around and being like, what the hell? He's aware. He's noticed. What are you doing with that? Out in the open, around your neck. What the?
Every ounce of color is drained from his face. Give it here! Give it to me now! Bailiff, please restrain him. It's mine! I inherited it!
What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it?
No, well, what's all this about? He inherited that key? I'm assuming that's from Selden. It was obviously important to you, since you'd gone to such great lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Give it back this minute! Give it to me!
Calm yourself, witness. What's all this about? I mean, I'm still going on about Selden leaving a stash somewhere. Maybe that's the key to it?
So Mr. Pretentious has tried and in one case succeeded to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yeah, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Pretentious at first, but considering everything we now know, I think there's actually something that could explain it.
What?
I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal. Everything we've seen and heard. I need to slap myself and get myself alert and focused. Because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all of these events.
In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. Oh, we're just jumping into it. What do you say? What is it you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Pretentious' alleged crimes? I mean, something along these lines, right? There's nothing, blah, 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 done cellmate, the estimated 1,000 pounds he loot, blah. Sucked by nature. Oh, was he actually the others? Was this guy the cellmate? This guy, he potentially showed up at Garadeb's the same day Selden died. Wasn't that what it was? His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. Was he the cellmate? Announced the death of convicted murder, blah, 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 suffering fear and shouts of son. That would explain why he inherited it. No. I'm guessing it's the, I mean, we're kind of reaching here. I wish it was a little more clear what we should be presenting. I'm not sure if this is my favorite trial so far, but I feel like this is the only thing we have at evidence that can actually do it. So nothing here is good, but this is the least not good thing.
Take that!
Right? That's an official police report, is it not? Okay, so this is probably the right thing. The Selden file. How did you get a hold of that?
Selden?
Well, you recognize that name, do you? The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant, Mr. Natsume, have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Wait a minute. Ross and Natsume, yeah. Well, yes, we know this, certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries. I see.
And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. The One Piece.
The some 1,000 pounds worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found.
Oh, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in his file here.
1,000 pounds lost en route to hell. That was how the papers summed it up.
And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in.
Yeah, I think we got your ass, buddy.
Oh, you mean this key is...
So you're not actually related to Selden. That was a theory I had earlier. I wasn't quite sure.
Mr. Pretentious, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not?
What are you talking about? 'Tis a false charge, I tell you. A false charge.
The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in this file. Also, the mod changed it, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But a simple telegram to the prison where he died will quickly tell us how false the charge really is. But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings?
There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot.
You'd think the police would bloody find it. Whatever lock is in there, it can't be that hard to pick or just bust open. So it all comes out.
Yes. And having established that, all of Mr. Pretentious' subsequent actions start to make perfect sense.
When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Gerardib's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's old room. Why did he get out when Selden died? How does that work? He just happened to be pardoned, excused the exact day Selden passed away? Maybe this guy poisoned Selden and had him die the day. Okay, maybe that could be a thing. Actually, this guy isn't the poisoning type. Miss Green's the poisoning type. I take that back. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice,
because Selden's old room has already been let out to someone else, Mr. Duncan Ross.
Which is why Mr. Pretentious subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room.
However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it.
Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant in this case, no less. See, the timeline for that doesn't add up, because as far as I know, Duncan passed away a month ago, but Soseki moved in a week ago. So I'm still wondering how they're going to account for that 3-week stretch, but it looks like they're not going to. They're just going to pretend Soseki applied right away. He was there, boom, a month ago.
So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Pretentious? This time to out Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict.
You gonna break down? You gonna change personality? You gonna do something? You gonna do something? You gonna do something? Oh. Huh? Oh, I want you to have me loot anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. This is Selden.
It's hidden in the room. Well, I was lodging where they got me. Yeah, here's the key to it.
They let you keep the key in prison? Come on, what the hell?
Oh, we're still one step ahead, mate. See you now, I guess. Pretentious.
So him dying before they got a chance to hang him. You gonna break down? It's mine. New personality? Breakdown? Change? What did he just say?
It's mine.
That loot is mine. The one piece is mine. Oh, okay. Okay, someone's getting infected by the crazy. All the crazy from the corpse party stream is, Yep, we losing it. Dude, you need to see an optometrist. And maybe a psychiatrist. It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do.
You can't arrest me, for the time being anyway. Harry, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close. I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it. I taste it now. Do you really think I just give up? There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through.
But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo.
There is a way.
Pardon?
There's one way I can finish him.
This trial moves faster than most that I know. This would be... Am I getting close to the end here? We've only been streaming for like an hour and a half. Jeez. Is this... Yeah, wow. Okay, I could have finished this last week. Damn.
He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot, which means all we need to do is find it first.
A fine plan. Were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. See, that's what I'm wondering. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule. Well, where was that logic last stream?
If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly.
This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. But I think we might have it in our possession already. What? Or rather, I think we will have something that can help us find where that loot is hidden.
We're going to use Holmes' spray gun again to see where the hands are in his... So that wouldn't matter. That place has been shot to crap since everyone... Yeah, he hasn't been there for a year. Not going to do anything.
Yes, counsel? The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we're already in possession of something that can give us a clue to its whereabouts.
Do we? Back in his own little world.
It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already. It's definitely...
Are we actually going to do the budget luminol thing? That shouldn't work. I mean, come on. 2 lodges have been in there since then. Very well then, counsel. Let's hear your idea. What do you propose we can use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convict's haul? No. Have we even used this at all? No. No, no, no. No. No, no. No. See, I'm wondering if... Because this is the closest thing we have to the gas thing. I think that'd be kind of a dumb thing to do, but I have a feeling the game is expecting it of me. This really shouldn't work considering how long it... I have full health. F it. Is it this? If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Potenchi's handprints on the wall of his lodgings.
That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene.
Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Holmes.
A great detective? Is this some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be taunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I like how his eyes changed there. Oh. There's Holmes. Yeah, this guy's name is supposed to be Shamspear, but the mod changes it to Potenchi.
I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspear.
I'm assuming that's Holmes, yep.
Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Ah! 'Tis Sherlock Holmes himself!
What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not?
Oh, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long, and I see your complexion is worsened since last we met. Mr. Holmes, he does know Lord Van Zeeks then. Well enough to say something like that in any case.
Mr. Holmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit.
If I may, my lord,
Mr. Holmes's newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already.
Clues, you say?
I call them skin prints, my lord. Very unfortunate name. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny.
Oh, that's right. It's supposed to isolate one person's handprints by frickin' magic. It's just genetics or whatever. That's right. So it wouldn't show up Ross or Sosei. Or Soseki. Sosei. This isn't Usual Suspects.
It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution.
Ah, so okay. I take back what I said before.
In your case, sir, I used the teacup you'd been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time?
That's a good question, actually.
When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Saseki's room. We need a sample to help him locate Selden's loot that's hidden in his old room. What form would the sample take?
We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that's hidden in his old room. What form will the sample take? I mean, the key would be the only thing I could think of, but potentially also touch that. I'm not sure. Let's check the court record here. I'm glad the game lets me check the court record when the option's up. The old games didn't used to do that. I don't see anything else that could be an option. I guess we'll present a person. And then we'll... Oh, wait a minute. I think there's a hidden achievement. The one achievement in this trial. I'm supposed to... I know what? There's an option to pick olive green at some point near the end of the trial. And I'm supposed to pick anyone but her. I'm guessing this is it. We will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution. Something the convict owned happens to be in the possession of someone listed in the court record.
Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind?
You may not want to compliment me after what I'm about to do.
From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution?
Well, you happen to be right there, Suzuto, so let's just pick on you.
And what, pray tell, does said person possess that could be applicable to our purpose? Let's hear your new and improved powers of reasoning at work, my dear fellow. Psy'Min, what are you doing to me? Dear me, your left eye just twitched. Are you currently concocting an elaborate excuse? Not some clever Japanese joke about a wet noodle, I hope.
Was that a reference to something? Well, I got an achievement called the Noodler, so now I know why. I think we need to reconsider this from the start, Mr. Naruhodo. Quit presenting me as evidence.
Why do I feel as though Suzuto is studying my left eye now? I'm ready and waiting, Mr. Naruhodo. The rest is in your hands. From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution?
All right, well, let's pick the obvious. Where is she? There she is. The very obvious option. So I guess she's not related to him. I guess I was wrong about that.
Miss Green.
Huh? Me? What do you want with me?
The key around your neck, if you please.
Sorry.
Not a happy boy.
I'm about to go to jail for something else.
That key belongs to Selden. He's going to have an interesting breakdown. I can't wait.
There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Very true. That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Holmes' skin print seeker.
What a plot-convenient thing he's invented.
And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent.
I mean, that doesn't really...
Mr. Potenchi, there's one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hole is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. If I have a safe, I don't necessarily touch it all the time to hide things in it. I'm going to go in it like once in a blue moon. It's not like this guy was robbing banks every other day. All right. I'm not going to complain about the logic too much. So, Mr. Potenshi, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth.
In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Holmes have this key.
No! Give the key to me! The detective shan't have it. It's over, Mr. Potenshi.
No.
You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Show us your breakdown animation. Admit your guilt. Do it. Do it. This should be good. Wait, what exploded? His gems. They're just blowing up. Dude provided his own confetti. Damn. Holmes and Green just ran for the hills when that went going. You could have put on a better show than that. Ah, there he is. Hey, convict boy.
I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room, that's all.
So you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods. Yet after you'd killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room.
I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused.
Why?
I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing.
Mr. Garrett really has had a lot to put up with.
And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then, this Japanese fellow swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease.
Ah, there we go. So there was a period of time. And then when the place became available, then Soseki jumped on it. All right, that hole's filled.
Poor Mr. Natsume. What unfortunate timing. Then, 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance. But it wasn't to be.
No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day.
And if I remember rightly, Mr. Holmes spent the whole day in there reading books. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot.
Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. I'm just going to assume that we're going to call that skin print seeker thing a bluff. Because, again, I have a hard time believing that dude's prints wouldn't be friggin' everywhere and give zero info. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. And she just appears.
William Potenshi. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question.
From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1.
Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That's the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done.
Back to prison with you. You still did a not nice.
At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget a conversation the night before Duncan died.
We get to see Duncan? Nope, guess not. The gas supply of my lodgings are a complete disaster, Viridian. I'm not going to bother to give this guy a voice.
The gas supply?
Yeah, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse.
Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is.
All right, then, if that's important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms.
There's spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave the horrible room tonight?
No, I'd better not. We said we'd wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember?
But that was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas.
If only I'd known it was going to happen, I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped English, Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grubb's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. "That place is cursed, I tell you, cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me! I wake up in the middle of the night, freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked. No problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking." But how could that be? Duncan was gone and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered a rumor I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigate the gas installations.
A rumor? Ah, you mean?
Yeah, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes.
Sure, number 4 is not going to be happy to hear about that. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework.
That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that's just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End.
A black market?
I'd never been. I just heard people talk about them. And you really can't buy anything you could think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident? Or was it murder?
And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait.
If Mr. Pretentious was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly.
Sneaky.
I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Pretentious, and then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross.
So I was right. She sent the note because she knew that he had done something. Not the other way around. Not sending it to her because she, whatever, for whatever reason that could come of it.
Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. If he'd done it, I knew that he would worry him enough so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked.
And of course, Mr. Pretentious followed the instructions to the letter.
I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away.
Yeah, it's hard to find, I know.
So I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd found all over the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done. And that it was all just some wild fantasy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done. And that the culprit would get his just desserts.
I mean, you're not completely innocent here either. "3 days ago, when you were first stood on the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward."
Yes, my lord.
I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yeah. Are we friends now? I don't know.
And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you. Envisage? Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green,
Yes, my lord.
you will henceforth be stripped of your freedom as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Pretenci.
Yes, I know.
And you, Mr. Pretenci, you will be tried for the murder of Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Suzuki Nasumi here present. I wanted my money.
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yeah?
yesterday at the hospital, and you and your friends stopped me from...
Yeah, I remember that. From ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle.
I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be and not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems.
Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green.
Oh.
And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Pretenci didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Yeah, because you'd have been kind of boned there.
Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now, you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough.
Aw.
Oh, Miss Green.
Mr. Suzuki Natsume.
Yes, my lord.
The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. You are nice, not naughty. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of nice. We have full agreement, my lord. In that case, I hereby declare that the defendant, not naughty. More confetti. Ours this time. They're just hanging Pretenci from the roof as his gems explode all over the place. Court is adjourned. Get out. It's Miller time. This is a bit of a shorter one, but we finish. Trial 2 down. I'm assuming we're going to hear a little bit about why this is an important case, because again, Holmes didn't want to talk about it or have it published. And Mikitoba was very interested in what happened as well. So what's something about Selden here, I think. We'll be finding out about later. Hey, you weirdo.
Oh, yes, at last.
Divine justice duly done! Not alliteration. You failed. Divine justice? My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that moustache. No! This has nothing to do with my moustache!
Some say that a luxuriant moustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Holmes.
That's not what I want to hear. Once again, you saved me from doom. I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. If you get a third one, you get a free ice cream cone.
I was first acquitted with and gained affection for English literature while in our great homeland empire.
First acquainted, not acquitted.
And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I've never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you?
Oh, but a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not?
You did, and I've seen more of life than this week than all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel like I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind the wall of fog.
Yeah, not much you can do about the fog, sorry. My dear fellow, there's nothing special about the true face of England as you put it.
Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences.
Yes, I think you're right. I'm finally starting to see that, and I've come to understand something. I hate it here. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're just doing our best to live.
Well said. I've come to feel the same way.
I've made a decision too. I'm going back home.
I'm going to
Cut short my study tour here and return to Japan.
What?
We're all human. Just the humans here suck. And I hate them. Just when we become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings. It really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh, my. So you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume. How wonderful. I am a cat. Well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature. I'm just a cat.
Why not?
When that is precisely the definition, Mr. Moustache. I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your work.
Well, all things considered, maybe for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from our battle with the Reaper. Oh, that's very true. Get the hell out of town, dude. You're screwed. Maybe getting convicted by him twice cancels it out.
And there's no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper's the prosecutor.
The desire to return post-haste to the safety of your homeland is what I quite understand.
All of a sudden, he's super paranoid. He's like, okay, I need to get out of here right now. Let me out. Let me out.
My goodness, yes. Faced with such a terrifying prospect.
You guys are going to terrorize the poor man.
Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure.
Why are you still in this room?
But that's not why I'm leaving.
I mean it.
Objection. Did you just objection me? You son of a bitch. That's my thing.
And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. Soseki did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikitoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Suzuto was given the news that she had to return to Japan as well, on the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill.
Yeah, what is this all about? We got many mysteries here, and we've only got 3 cases left.
The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial, on the following day.
Oh, do we get to find that out now? Let's end the stream with that. Come on, tell me.
The day that we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings.
Don't you cock tease me. Don't you do it. What is it? Tell me. Don't you dare to be continued me. Do we get to spray the place up? What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be?
Oh, well done, Mr. Holmes. How simply marvelous of you. To uncover the secret hiding place in just 1 day.
Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson?
Have you been showing up? Are you upset? Poor boy.
Iris!
Toby's been happily munching an agreement this whole time, you know, Holmesy.
I'm not sure what that means.
Happily? I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth.
So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then. If you're ready, let's examine the late burglar's hall.
Are we going to get a cartoon cutscene?
What is that?
It's not gems? What the F? It's a dog collar?
It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar.
A collar? It's huge, though. And look at all.
Gotta find Iris here.
And look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth £1,000.
Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed on the inside there are some dark stains?
Oh, I didn't. Okay. I was thinking like pattern or something, but now that I look at it seriously, it's like, yeah, that's just covered in blood, isn't it? Okay, so evidence of some case or something or some such. I don't feel like I've seen anything regarding this before, I don't think.
There are some dark stains.
You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it.
On second thought, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Not great.
Then, of course, there's this emblem here, a large letter B and a small crown. What does it signify, do you think?
Oh, I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know? Where could it have been?
This whole thing seems vaguely familiar to me, but I don't know if that's just actually something, if the game has actually laid something in the past that I don't quite recall, or if it's just my imagination. That's enough of that, then, I think. What? What's the matter with Mr. Holmes? All the color is drained from his face. Aha. Well, Inspector, I believe you want to be taking this, aren't you? It could be valuable evidence, after all. Must be kept safely under lock and key. Does Gregson recognize it? Oh, yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over, now! They know something. What's going on? I've never seen a collar that large before, and all those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. Maybe it wasn't, maybe it's not a collar, maybe it is a... Well, it would be a weird belt, because the buckle seems to be in the back. But that's not what stood out the most to me, at least not once I noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains, could they really have been blood? Yeah, give us more info here. What's going on?
Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now.
And you look very pleased, Iris.
I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating.
You're talking about the latest installment of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I presume. I don't think that's how you spell installment, but okay.
The mystery of the knife in the mist, and the mustached man and the convict's curse, perhaps. I can make it into a 2-part story. Oh, I can't wait!
A word, please, Iris.
Yes? What is it, Holmesy?
I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question.
What? Why not? It's a great case.
Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your 2 titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Poor Iris.
Yes.
Oh, there's that music. What do you know, Holmesy?
So
What's
it
up?
was that the second of Soseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Voices.
Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story.
Don't you mean Holmes?
It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen.
Ah, we do got an underlying plot here.
For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again.
Susato, so it is a emphasis on the second syllable.
With an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
So 2 months after the letter, he said. So 2 months after Gina's trial. We haven't seen Gina yet. And we reach the end. But you don't get to see the word "and" because it's behind me. Alright, that trial was a little bit scuffed for a few different reasons. The return of the great departed soul. Interesting. Interesting. Well, we are going to go ahead and tackle that. There's the stream. Chat. We are going to go ahead and tackle that on Friday. So I'm a little unclear about what I'm going to be doing for this week. I still got to make the hypnosis recording. I got to make that one for this week. Wednesday, I've got a few options. Actually, hang on. I need to double check Friday. I'm talking out of my ass here. Friday, I actually have a client on Friday morning, so we might have to do things a little bit differently. Where is my Friday? There we are. Friday, as far as YouTube goes, things should be more or less the same. We're going to do something Wednesday evening, but I'm not quite sure what yet. Friday afternoon / evening, we will definitely do the Great Ace Attorney again. That still works. As far as Twitch goes, we're going to play Corpse Party again, but I'm not too sure where. I may have to play it Saturday. That'll be a little bit weird, but we could do it. I might be able to fit it in Wednesday morning, but I don't like that idea because I do have other clients and stuff. Thursday afternoon, maybe. All I can say is I do try to post stuff. Why am I being choppy on screen now? Let's kill the Great Ace Attorney. That should free me up some frames. All I can say is follow the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitter. Look out for me on Twitch. I'm Psy'Min Says pretty much everywhere, so I shouldn't be hard to find. And you'll know when things are coming up. I've lamented about this before, but again, the nature of my work is that I am in my hypnotherapy office by appointment, and it means that things are somewhat erratic as far as to when I can and cannot get around to doing things. I try to keep a reasonably regular schedule, but you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes stuff happens, and I have other things going on in life, obviously. So, yeah. Anyway, we will go ahead and wrap up here, but like I said, if you want to know what's going on, make sure you're just watching out, following me on Twitter. Subscribe to this channel so that you know what's going on. Follow me here. Follow me on Twitch so you can see the stuff I'm doing there. We've been playing Corpse Party. We had a really fun stream playing Knock Knock, which I haven't played in ages. And of course, I've actually started moving my Melty Blood Lumina streams over there. So if you saw the original Melty Blood stream here, we're going to be doing that again more on Twitch as an ongoing thing. And YouTube is kind of going to be the place for the longer Let's Plays like this and the hypnosis recordings. Twitch, I don't know, we'll maybe move the Hangout streams or the, I don't know, just random stuff streams over there, since Twitch apparently just deletes everything after 2 weeks anyway, so whatever. We'll feel it out. In any case, like I said, make sure you're following all that stuff so you know what's going on. Take care. Thank you for coming out. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you enjoyed the case. This was a little bit of a weaker case in my opinion. We could have done it a little better. We could have, I don't know, there could have been better ways certain connections could have been made, I guess. But yeah, I'm still not sure about it. We'll see what happens, though, because, again, we're starting to get to the climax here. Next trial is probably going to be more interesting. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen in it, but, you know, stuff's going to start coming out. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to good things. I love this series. I've always said it before. Take care. Again, thank you for watching. See you next time.